Hello everyone, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I want to do a live stream right now about what is happening right now nationwide in the real estate markets. And what I'm going to talk about are things that are currently happening and what's going to come in the near future. 2 years ago, I called the top of the housing market. And if you go look at the St. Louis Fred charts of both existing and new home inventory prices, you will see that I had it within 2 months, the call. And the reason why I made that call was on some specific parameters. And what I've been trying to do for the last 2 years is prepare people, showing them what's happening right now in the market, but what is coming 3 months, 6 months, 2 years from now, so that you have time to get ready. Well, we are already well into the housing correction. We have been able to prove on this channel, many people have seen me spout these charts from the St. Louis Fred that showed that nationally home prices had fallen 8%. However, two and a half months ago, the Federal Reserve actually went in and changed, the Fed actually went and changed the charts. So now it only shows about a 4% decline nationwide. We have, it's funny, I have to say a handful of YouTube channels came out and just crazy. The amount of attacks were just insanity because these YouTubers that have real estate right now, and this happened 2 years ago, where they were screaming and yelling. I was a doom and gloomer. I didn't know what I was talking about. And these YouTubers, they have a lot of followers. And not actually a lot, but I mean, what I mean is they're very prim and polished and they've got fancy editing, and all they tout is what's happening right now. They're like horses with blinders. Well, you can't teach anyone how to be successful if you don't prepare them for what's coming, and then the student is actually prepared for what is actually happening, right? To follow people on the internet that just have blinders on and all they talk about is how great it is to buy Airbnbs and how to buy them and how to get the tax advantages, or how to buy a fourplex right now and how much money you can make right now, well, that does you no good now, because a lot of people are finding themselves in bankruptcy. They're closing up corporations. They are losing their properties because they're having to refinance commercial residential properties right now. And that doesn't do anyone good, right? A good teacher prepares a student for what's coming so that when that event happens, they can make the proper decisions based off of prior understanding and knowledge, right? So now you see all of those exact same YouTubers, and they're not even worth my time to mention, because why? You're just going to see them again spout off exactly what's going on right now. They don't have the understanding and knowledge because they didn't own rentals during the last crash, okay? Every single person I know of, except for 2 individuals that are on YouTube right now, owned real estate prior to 2010. Even if you bought homes in 2008, 2007, you don't know what you're doing. You bought it during the greatest time ever. Did you get lucky? Yes. Did you see a crash coming ahead of time? No, because I can tell with these videos, right? So right now there's a couple of headlines I just want to go over briefly before I show you a couple of charts that will really blow your mind. Also, I'm going to throw out, there's 3 days left of the pre-filming of Investor Mortgage Pro. If you want to start learning about this, how to be ready so that when you walk into a bank, because the crash only happens, real estate markets turn down only for, well, there's actually 2 reasons, but the main reason is because lending gets tight and most people can't get a loan for a rental property. So the rental property market just collapses because there's less buyers and sellers. That's really it. And secondly, it's because of an emotion that most people don't want to catch a falling knife and they don't know when to actually pivot. So if you want the course, and I'm going to keep updating that course throughout this next year, because in the next 6 months, you are going to see lending get so tight. It's been getting tighter and tighter. Banks have been getting crazy with both residential income properties or loans and owner-occupied loans. I'm going to keep updating this. Every time a new loan product comes out, I'm going to share it. So it's pretty cool stuff. Right now, Charlotte home prices climb to a new record, even as sales plunge. Now, I want you to remember, so think about that. The price is climbing as sales are plunging. So I'm going to explain that with an amazing chart in a little bit. But let me get to something else. All right, out of Reuters, new U.S. home sales slump. Supply is at more than a 16-year high. 16-year high. You know all those stories of we don't have enough housing, we need more housing, we need more housing. You know, this exact same scenario, if you could do the math too real quick, what year was 16 years ago? Do some math, I'm live, then put it down in the comments for me. I experienced this in 2005 when I started liquidating all my real estate because there are certain specific things that were happening in the market and I knew to get out. Now, when did everybody figure it out? It was about 2.5 years after that. So to think that I was liquidating all my properties in mid 2005, 2006, and I was telling everyone that the market was collapsing, right? Well, think about it this way. Now we're sitting here right back where we started from. I was like Chicken Little saying the market's falling. Well, the market was falling back then, and it is falling right now, right? But you haven't seen it show up in Case-Shiller because they have a rolling 3-month average price. You haven't seen it in the mainstream media because the mainstream media, this is what's scary. They're following YouTubers and they're following Zillow and Redfin, all right? Think about this. People that have YouTube channels that all they do is talk about why you should buy rental property, they have everything to lose and nothing to gain if the market turns down, right? They're going to lose their channel. Same thing with Redfin and Zillow. These companies and Realtor.com, they thrive off of an active market. If there's not buying or selling, it's the same thing with Dave Ramsey. It's how he makes most of his money is referring you to a real estate agent. Most people don't understand that, right? So if the market is tightening, which I'm going to show you in a couple charts, just spectacularly, look at this headline again, and everybody answered. I got Jay Bravo in the house. Thank you to all my, thank you, Carlos, for being in here and moderating too. Right here, Reuters, again, it says U.S. home sales slump, supply is at more than a 16-year high. So we have more homes available for sale than we did in 2008, right? So everybody keeps touting, the mainstream media keeps touting that we don't got enough homes. That is 100% false, all right? So now check this out. Let's dive into this headline. This is out of Market Watch. New home sales plunge to lowest level since November. Now that doesn't mean the price of homes, even though this is interesting. Let me read the first couple lines of it. The numbers, sales of newly built homes in the U.S. plunged. So the amount of homes that were selling, they're now way lower. Okay, not the price. In May, as home buyers scaled back in the face of high mortgage rates. New home sales were at their lowest level since November. Sales of newly built homes fell 11.3% to an annualized rate of 619,000 in May from a variety. Now, please, oh gosh, please understand this. I'm gonna repeat it really slow. I'm gonna say it real slow. Sales of newly built homes fell 11.3%. to an annualized rate of 619,000 in May from a revised rate of 698,000 in the previous month. I want you to understand there is a word in there that's very important, revised. There are revisions going on right now, not because they were wrong, because they are trying to hide the fact that the housing market is in the greatest plunge on a dollar and percentage level than since the Great Depression. Okay, our homes have actually fallen over 8% nationally since November, December of 2022. So they are actually revising numbers to where the top was up here when I called it on the YouTube channel, and this is where it is now, they've moved the top. So the current drop right now doesn't seem as bad as it really is, right? You're gonna see all this come out in the news probably about in a year and a half, because this collapse keeps getting worse and worse. So what helps you? Is it better for you to know ahead of time what's actually happening, right? And then see ahead of time what's coming? Or do you want to just be told, the current information, right? I get bored of the current information. So let me see. There was one more thing I wanted to report on real quick. Again, I'm going to go back to the Charlotte home, because I'm going to show you a couple charts and we're going to talk about this. Charlotte home prices climb to a new record even as sales plunge. Okay, so the price of the home is going up as the sales are falling. Why? Well, I've told you this before. I've learned from housing insiders that I cannot name and my own information that what is happening is there's so few homes selling. I'm going to show you how much in a second. There are people that don't really think globally in terms of macroeconomics or even really just a bigger picture than what is right in front of them, right? Blinders. And they're buying homes, just inking in, believing the salespeople that don't worry, you're going to be able to refi. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to refinance anytime soon because our currency is imploding versus other currencies and against gold and Bitcoin and silver, things like that. So the Federal Reserve knows they can't lower rates. They're going to dip them a little bit, but that's not going to do anything to mortgage rates in the next 6 months. I know it sounds crazy. This is where you want to be. You want to have this understanding and knowledge because you're sitting back and let me give you an example. Exotic cars right now are collapsing in price. Rolexes are dropping in price in dollar terms. Both of those in dollar terms, right? Collectibles like baseball cards falling in price. When you price those in gold, silver, and Bitcoin, they're in utter collapse mode. The value, meaning that the value of gold, silver, Bitcoin are skyrocketing versus that, and they're falling even faster, right? So there's this amazing opportunity, this arbitrage that so many people, hey, type 1 right now, if you're arbitraging a specific, the value of a specific item you've bought, whether it be Bitcoin, stocks, anything, right? Versus the price of real estate, and then you're going to swap into it. This is the most amazing opportunity ever. I don't know of anybody on the internet that's talking about this. I've been talking about this for 2 years. And again, I don't like bringing you data right now. I want to show you the future. So I'm going to show you a couple charts. First one's out of the Fed, okay? Now I'm real high tech, I get it. Johnny's going to make fun of me. So what you see here is the green line is the Case-Shiller Index. Now I want you to remember that the Case-Shiller Index takes into account a trailing 3-month average of home sales, right? There's a handful of other metrics in there, but just understand that. The blue line, let me make sure I got it right, is the average sales price of houses sold in the United States. And then the red line is the median sales price. I love how they put two different ones of new homes. Okay, now we know that new homes have been having a hard time. And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I've exposed what's going on with D.R. Horton selling off full neighborhoods that they were 350. They're selling them for $250,000 each, but you have to buy them in blocks of 100. There's no earnest money needed. They're just looking for big funds to pick these up, right? Because what they want to do, and they don't want the price to go down because they don't want to be sued by everyone they just sold homes to. We saw this in China about a year and a half, 2 years ago. But also they need to be able to save face because home builders always have to build. If home builders stop building, they actually go out of business. So they're in crisis mode right now, just trying to stay alive. And the one thing that keeps a home builder alive is the perception of value of the price of the home, right? Does that make sense? All right. So we're seeing that just completely stagnate. But what's happening is, so imagine this. You're going to see on this red line where it was going up and now it's straight, just going across, right? It's treading water. New home sales, the median price of home sales. What they're doing to just keep the homes moving, they're giving you $50,000 or $60,000 in upgrades for free. They're buying down your mortgage rate. They're doing all kinds of things right now like that. So that means they're making less per home. Would you agree? Most people don't see this. And once you start to understand and see these signs, you start to see the most incredible opportunity of your life. That's why I did these courses in a specific way. Teach people about housing crash cycles, right? If you want that, there's a course out there. There's a discount link below. I think it's 70% off. If then you have to learn how to identify how to finance these, how to get the most amazing finance, whether it be Mortgage Master for your first ever home, or you want to refi, you want to save thousands of dollars doing that, or this one, if you want to actually learn how to finance single family homes all the way to up to 100 plexes or warehouse buildings or any of that stuff. Most people don't know how to do that. So I put it on here for $200, right? Is that a fair price? Let me know down in the comments if you think that's fair. Is it worth $200 to learn all this stuff and get ahead? I don't know. So we're going to go back to this chart, okay? Here we go. So you can see I've encapsulated in this chart the Great Recession, right? But remember, home prices turned down prior to recessions being announced. So you'll see that the Case-Shiller made this nice curve. Same with all three of those metrics. They made this nice sort of rainbow pattern, this nice move down, and then the recession was announced. Now remember, a recession begins, where it begins right here on this line, that's actually based on 2 quarters prior. So when you look at the 2 quarters prior and you come out, the recession actually the data started turning down right around here, okay? Well, now look at where we are right now. So what's really interesting about this is Case-Shiller keeps moving up. And the reason why is because what's heavily weighted on the Case-Shiller is the lowest price homes in the nation. And they're not telling you one very, very important factor. I teach this in the Real Estate Cycles course. So that looks great, right? The numbers moving up. The price of homes are moving up. And then you look at, that's Case-Shiller, the green line. And then the blue line, the average home sale price, that's stagnated. And then you look at the new homes, the red line, totally stagnated, correct? So neither of those, none of that scenario happened during the Great Recession. Well, why is it stagnating? Before I show you this amazing chart here, it's because people are completely not knowing of where they are currently. They are in desperate, desperate hope in the mode that the Fed's going to lower rates. The Fed only lowers rates when something really bad happens, or 4 times since 1972, they want to make a political move because they're really hoping a specific president gets in and not another one. See, since 1972, the Fed has had to deal with Ronald Reagan, and other than that, they haven't had to deal with a whole lot more. Other, presidents that really don't like what they do with their monetary instruments, right? So I want to show you this, and this is the part that nobody pays attention to and should scare the piss out of you, all right? Again, I hammer this in the Real Estate Cycles course. And that is the amount of homes sold in a given year. The volume of transactions, all right? Just like a stock or just like a cryptocurrency, you could see it taking off up 10 or 20% in a day. But the average volume is extremely light, meaning very few people are willing to sell that stock or that cryptocurrency. And the ones that do, that are willing to sell it, go, I'm not selling it at a normal price. I'm going to mark it up. And then a handful of people that are greedy or think something that they probably don't understand or know anything about, they go and buy it. And that last price of a sale of cryptocurrency or stock, that now records a new price of its value, right? But most people that invest in the stock market or cryptocurrency market, and the exact same thing is true for real estate, but it moves at a snail's pace, is I've got to look at the volume compared to the price action. You see, when volume is massive on an up day, then I'm like, something's happening. Something solid is happening because this is a liquid market. On the flip side, when something is collapsing in price and it's on very thin volume, I'm going, okay, this is a couple of idiots that don't know what they have. They're selling because they're scared. And it's usually, we call it weak cans getting shaken out of the market, right? I go, I'm not worried about it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try and buy some on this and then watch it pop the next day, right? Technical analysis 101. But most people don't realize that. And so they sell and they're scared. Now on the downside, if all of a sudden there's a ton of selling, now you got a problem, right? Because now you're catching a falling knife or you're selling into a collapse, a crash. Well, on the same side, that happens in real estate. So if you check this out, and can you guys do me a favor? Type 10 if this is helping you out. And type 11 if you knew all this stuff. Type 12 if you didn't. So 10 if this is helping you out. 12 if you never knew this stuff. But I want to teach people. This is what I like to do. And there's not a lot of people that can actually teach live because honestly, they don't know anything about this crap. They look really fancy. They wear fancy clothes. They have fancy editing, and it probably takes them 25 times longer than me to do something because I'm doing this based off of not only information I learned, but experience. All right? And people need to learn that too. You want to know that the people teaching you actually have skin in the game. They've been a part of this. They've actually done it. Any teacher can teach something, but good teachers can actually change the way their students work or think, that kind of stuff. So this is out of Trading Economics, okay? And what this is this is existing home sales on a yearly basis, a yearly chart. And what you're gonna see, this is so cool. I love this crap. Oh gosh, this gets me pumped. All right, this is a long-term chart, right? From 86? Oh, sorry, 68. It's backwards. But I want you to focus on that really big tall tip right up there, that real nice mountain. That's the 2008 bubble and crash, right? And actually, it wasn't 2008. It was, again, 2006. So you see that well prior to the media hype, home prices collapsed and they started crashing really fast. Now, this isn't the price of homes. This is the amount of homes sold. All right. So you're going to see right here, if you look and took a straight line and went right across, you're going to see that we are back. The amount of homes being sold right here, we are back to the lows of the Great Recession. So when media outlets tell you that homes are at all-time highs, wouldn't it make sense? This is because there are so few homes selling, just a handful of people that have no concept of this housing bubble are buying these homes. Another thing you have to realize that's happening right now that wasn't happening back then was that massive amounts of government stimulus are being injected in the markets, keeping the banks afloat and loaning money. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are buying up mortgages from these banks, and they're thrilled because if they weren't doing that, banks wouldn't be loaning money at all for mortgages. They have now moved into the secondary market. So Fannie and Freddie, the government is buying up seconds now. That's how bad it is. And you've got stimulus checks, you've got all kinds of programs right now. And another thing that's happening right now, right here, is that you can put $0 down on a home. $0 down. You know, the last time that you were able to put $0 down on a home was right about there. Right about there. And what people don't realize is when you give the common man or woman the ability to buy a home with $0 down, and like right now, that's called buy now, pay later, meaning that the second is totally silent. It's interest-free. It's payment-free until you sell the home. When you give people that opportunity, there's also programs right now. If you are a non-white person, like you're Hispanic, you're African American, you can apply. They even opened up to illegal immigrants. This is real stuff. I've been covering this for the last 9 months. If you're an illegal immigrant, you can buy a home too and get a great rate. Another thing too they've opened up is that if you have poor credit, the federal government said, hey, we're not going to fine you. We're not going to actually charge you higher rates or higher fees. We're going to charge people with good credit higher rates and fees. I know it makes no sense, but it does when you think about, the government's trying to prop up this housing bubble because there's a current president, Joe Biden, wants to get reelected. The Democrats want to get reelected, so they're bumping this bubble up. If this was his last term and they knew that they were losing, they'd pull the plug. And like I reported earlier today, Joe Biden says, hey, I'm pushing a bill through right now that's going to fix rent costs. See, they're doing everything they can to try and just get in the next election cycle. And once you realize that, you realize the most incredible opportunity is sitting in front of you. But here's the thing, you've got to be ready for it. So let me ask you this, honestly. Can you type yes if it's fair to pitch you an idea? Type yes, type no if it's not. And honestly, if it's not, then you're probably going to stay in your current position in life. Because how I got somewhere in life was I bought people coffee. I bought books and read them. I took courses, not online. I actually had to buy course. Well, I think it was online, but I bought course material, took courses, right? Like the Carlton sheet stuff. Holy cow. I couldn't have bought as many homes if I didn't take that. So the reason why I teach people is because I want you, and why I built courses. First, I was blessed with my friendship with Johnny, and he showed me how to do this because of my background. I want you to have a little bit of skin in the game so you actually take the courses and learn from them and then go out and crush it. But you have to be ready ahead of time. So if you've ever wanted to buy a rental, can you do me a favor and type 100? If you own a rental, but if you've ever wanted to buy a rental and start building your net worth, building cash flow, amazing tax breaks, things like that, type the number 100. And there are a lot of people that are typing 100, but they don't believe that they can actually do it. And that's a really sad thing because I came from a broken financial background and I bought my first home, my first rental in 6 months, and I absolutely crushed it. And I want to see you do it too. So this is what I figure. This is the truth. This I can say this with all honesty. This course will never be this price again. It's $199. It ends in 3 days. The pre-filming. Why? Because this is for investors. Everything else up till then, I always run these sales to make sure people pay $199 just that they watch the content and go, okay, what's next? You know, kind of thing. They take it serious. This one will never be this price again, but this one will get you ready for thinking much bigger. How to finance a rental property, a 4-plex, a 10-plex, a warehouse, a 100-plex. It'll take you from everything from normal conventional rental financing to a DSCR, how to put it properly into an LLC. Nobody's teaching that. I hate it that these gurus won't teach you that. It's disgusting because you have a lot of liability, but those gurus want to sell you millions of books and coursework to get you into trouble someday with creditors if something was to go wrong. And then how do you move past that into, CMBS? How do you move into mezzanine financing? What is that stuff? Nobody's teaching that stuff. So that's my pitch. You don't need it to be successful. Will it save you time and money? Because time is money? Yes. Will it give you a clear destination? Yes. Will after 14 days or within 14 days, you watch half of it and you don't like it and you're like, this is going to change my life. Will I give you your money back? Yes. I don't think there's ever been a better reason to try and start getting ready right now. I hope you got something out of this. I like teaching things. When I do my courses, they're much more professional than this video. They are edited and we take a lot of time with them. But I got to be honest with you. I set out a long time ago, I don't need to be the fancy one. I'm okay with people making fun of me and saying that, oh, I'm a doom and gloomer. Now those morons, all they're doing is saying the housing market's crashing and they're still trying to sell you a book. They're idiots. Whatever. I kept all the footage for a reason. We're gonna have some really good edited videos in about a year from now. Hope you have a great day. I hope you crush it. It's probably the worst sales pitch ever. But you know what? If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not gonna change my life. I just want it to change yours. Hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.